During this time, our regular film opening for the show is seen. During this time, the regular filmed opening for Sports Northwest is seen over the television set. But it gives me an opportunity to say to you folks that the films, I think, of this type of event will present a tremendous picture for television. It's packed with action and lots of excitement, and it makes for a good listening audience, a very loyal one. And it's also a fine way, I believe, to display the products of Albers, the company that made this show possible. The 9th annual Interstate Championship Games meet took place here at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds at Canby, Oregon. And to help describe some of the action for it, here today as our expert commentator is Clarence Lacrosse. Clarence, we should see some exciting events out here today, don't you think?
Right, we got the best in the Northwest. We got the champions of Oregon and the champions of Washington competing against each other here for best times. This is our 9th annual meeting. So we've had a lot of experience in the past, and we got lots to look forward to today. I think this is going to be one of our best meets so far.
This has been a two-day meet, Clarence, and right now let's take a look at some of the action that the fans saw Saturday night. One fast team event is the flag race. Cutout drums are used as containers set 100 feet apart with the starting line, another 20 feet near the drum. A small flag on a 5-foot staff is placed in each container, and the first rider picks up the near flag, races to the far drum, exchanges flags, and brings the second flag back to the near drum, shooting it into the drum on the fly.
There's Jim Cargo making the first run. Here comes Ross Cargo. These are K-Bar M Saddle Club from Kent, Washington. And we'll pass now to Jim Giroux. It isn't a pass, it's an exchange of flags.
How did they do in last night's competition?
Well, their competition last night was 39.09, 39.900 seconds, real fast time. Now here's Jim Ewers Jr. He's the son of our president of the Western Games Division of Washington State. Looks like they had a pretty good time today.
Well, now the Oregon record, the championship is held by Clifford Larkin, Melvin Williams, Wayne Bullis, and Jim Southwick of the Benton County Sheriff's Posse with a time of 38.57 seconds. And the next team we will see, Clarence, well, how was their time last night?
The team, this is the Oregon team, and their time last night was 39.42, a little bit slower. That's 39.42 hundredths. We timed this right down to, this is the Flying W team now from Philomath, and first is Neva West.
With me now is Fred Starkey, a very successful rider in all of the events today. Fred, what kind of feeding program do you use?
Oh, we use grass hay and Albers trophy. We feed that twice a day.
Do you find it a successful program?
It's a real good program.
What kind of facilities do you have for feeding your livestock and animals?
Just box stalls and feed them in the stalls. And the trophy, Albers trophy, does the rest.
Many horsemen like to feed their horses Albers trophy, which gives the horse everything he needs but hay. And trophy contains the protein and minerals the horses would otherwise have to get from grain and feed supplements. Albers provides feeding recommendations for horses on different work programs, so the hay and trophy rations are properly balanced. When you put Albers trophy in the feed box, you're sure to put more trophies on the mantle. The next event that was run last night is the Bareback Rescue, an exciting race. It was won by the Stragglers of North King County in 42.91 seconds.
Okay, we got our leadoff man here now. This is Cliff Yeda. And the idea, of course, is you can see him to go down and pick up this second man, take him over across the line, and the front man must dismount. Well, they have a little problem down there. They got a loose horse, so they automatically be disqualified. They could get that horse back under control.
We might mention, too, Clarence, that these were not the winners of last night's competition, but are performing it for us here this morning.
Well, they're a little nervous being on TV and all that, you know. Okay, this is Doug Rice. Okay, he's going to go down and pick up his man now. This will be Dick Dell, which he'll pick up. And
that looks very difficult doing it bareback. They also have a competition that they use saddles, is that right?
Yes, that's right. They have a saddle deal. It's a rescue race. In that case, they go down and pick them up and one behind the other, and then the hind man gets off in this case. This object is getting off in front. It's a little difficult. It's hard to get underneath that reins. Usually you fall down when you get off, and it's sort of part of the... Now, you notice when he came back across this line here, he has to go across the line and completely cross the finish before he gets his time.
The senior keyhole race was started in California. It was run last night, but it has become widely popular Overall length of the course is 100 feet long, and riding right now is Jerry Spielman of Eugene, who holds the indoor mark of 7.35. Last night she won first place with a 7.29 on this outdoor track. Now this is Doug Rice, isn't it, Clarence?
Right, that's Doug Rice from Washington.
And he took second in last night's event. We might explain a little bit about the event. The horse must run into the keyhole consisting of the 10-foot entry lane, about only 4 feet wide, and turn inside the 20-foot circle and race back to the starting line. So a very difficult race, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's real difficult because that 4-foot hole down there looks pretty wide when you're running, but when you come at it pretty fast, why, it's pretty small, and the horse gets a little geared up and runs over it sometime.
Yes, now we have the grand parade and all the competitors and today's fine meet will come out and display themselves before the crowd.
This is our grand entry now, Art, and they're coming in. We'll have, from the far side of the arena, you'll see all our Oregon contestants, and from the left down here will be the Washington contestants. This is the grand culmination, you might say, of the year's activities in this particular games event. We compete throughout the entire year. It's a family affair. Mothers and daughters and brothers and sisters and fathers all compete in this. Sometimes the fathers beat the kids, and sometimes the kids beat the fathers. It's quite a sport. We have a lot of fun in it.
I was particularly noticing that it was a family affair, and that one gentleman said that he retired this year and his son took over.
That's right. That was Mr. Avery Larkin, one of our past great riders, and I'm sure he can still do a good job. But he's got his son out there that's really showing him how to do it, and he's got a grandson out there that's really coming up too. And you find this throughout all these families. The fathers quit riding, they get interested, and they start officiating and stuff, and then the sons and daughters start working out there real hard. And they have a lot of fun. They go to these shows together. They camp out overnight. They have horses. They take care of them. They learn to do all this. It keeps them out of trouble. And it's a great sport. Now here comes Oregon. This is where your crowd really cheers because we're, of course, at Canby, Oregon this year, and up there in front's one of these gentlemen I was referring to you, and his son Avery Larkin, his grandson, and his son Cliff. These are the contestants who will make up the afternoon's performance. We have mothers and daughters and sisters and brothers out there. We stayed on the grounds, most of them all last night and the night before. They competed from the time some of them were 4 years old. They hang on a saddle horn, they turn them loose on these game horses. It's a real great sport, Art.
You know, Clarence, I was noticing earlier, too, that it's not only a exciting sport, but also very dangerous, some of them.
Very, very dangerous. You'll see quite a few ripping around the arena out here that are sporting casts on their legs because of some accident. And one of our first events on the program this afternoon is going to be baton racing. This is one of our dangerous events because the people do run into each other, and there's that element of danger involved at all times.
And we'll see that action in just a moment. From Sequim, Washington is Cliff Yeda, another successful rider. Cliff, what do you think the most important elements of your feeding program are?
First of all, you need a well-balanced diet with not so much bulk, which Roundup has in it. Roundup is a real well-balanced diet. You don't have so much bulk, and therefore your horse can tuck up better and run faster in this event, of course. I have 4 that I've raised on it, and they all doing real good in the games. And I use other Albers products, too.
Do you find them successful?
Oh, yes, very successful.
Roundup is Albers' all-in-one ration, the complete pellet food that rounds up all the requirements for a balanced diet for your horse. No labor in hauling or storing hay, and no worries about hay quality or price. The highest quality of hay is maintained in every bag of Roundup, plus selected grains, calcium and phosphorus for good bone development, vitamins and trace minerals, and salt. You'll round up more pleasure from your horse, too. Well, Clarence, a score at this point of the games as the grand entry proceed to leave the arena. The score is Washington 433 to Oregon's 592. Would you say the point spread is mainly due to the hosting of the meet?
No, I don't think that's got anything to do with it because these are all a lot of individual events last night, and then of course these scores add up pretty fast. It's only 159 difference, and before we're through we'll probably have as much as 1,300 or 1,400 points, so it's actually pretty even, I would say, because of some of the nature of the events coming up. Washington excels in some of these events, and Oregon have a tendency to excel in others. So I think you'll find up with a close close one, Art.
Our first event for this afternoon will be the team baton race. It's a relay in which each of the 4 riders races 120 feet, then turns around a barrel and races back, handing off the baton to the next rider. Fastest Oregon time for this event is 36.99 seconds, recorded by the Emerald Empire Riders team from Eugene. In this particular race, we have the Benton County Posse on the Oregon side. That's closest to us, and then the Saddle Tramps from Washington on the far side. Clarence, this is a dangerous event, isn't it?
Yeah, this is real dangerous, Art, because when these horses come down back around this barrel down here, they're going full speed, and the horse at the far side is standing up against the line, and they pass each other. But a lot of times they twist. The horse will twist up there, and then they run into them broadside. Well, we got several broken legs and feet around the state to attest to the dangerous aspects of this particular sport.
I noticed also handing off this baton is not a simple thing to do. Many of them have dropped them.
You have to have your horse coming straight on, then you have to reach out there, and the object, of course, you let it hit your hand and hit it, and they've gone to a flexible type of baton, which is, okay, here comes 2 of our real fast teams here. One of the Oregon's on the right, and Washington, and we have running over there now is the Saddle Tramps, one of their top teams. Oh, named Chuck Parrott over there running now. He's really gotten
Sure brings a fine crowd reaction to a race like this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, they really go around those barrels, make that transfer real fast. Watch them how they pass the baton. That was a good hit. They cannot strike their horse with this as they're coming across the line. It might look like they do it, but they cannot do it. It's a penalty if they do. This should be one of our faster times of the day.
Pretty soon we'll see the final heat of this event, the championship team baton race. This time running for Washington will be May Valley. And for Oregon, the EER Unpredictables.
Emerald Empire Riders, who studied that one out a little bit, Unpredictables they call them because they're rather unpredictable in their times. But they do pretty good. They're sitting first in the state this year.
Right now, those teams are lining up down on the western side of the arena. A fine crowd on hand and very fine weather for today's event.
Beautiful weather. We just ordered it for the occasion. It's a nice day here in Canby. We've got real fine grounds. The footing is tremendous out here. These boys really like to get out here. It's sand footing. They don't have to worry about slipping and falling down. You see very few horses down on a day like today.
This time, Clarence, we'll concentrate on the Oregon team, the
here's
Unpredictables.
Lane Johnson down here. Diane Johnson it is, making her run. She's one of our past queens of various rodeos. Here's Tommy Delker making his run on a horse they call No Night D, one of the fastest horses in the state. This is Al Barber, and he's got a real top trained horse. Watch him now, he's going to pass to Evelyn Barber, that's his wife. She's sitting way up there in top of the state and barrel racing also. Look at her go, black horses they ride. Back across the line, the time looks like it's going to be somewhere around 37 seconds, a little bit over for this particular event.
Clarence, we'll have the final results of the champion team baton after this message. Pat Delker has accumulated top times in most all the events he's been in today. Pat, what do you feel that the horse needs in the way of feed when you're preparing it for a meet such as this?
Well, I think it needs the right balanced minerals and bulk. And I get this out of Albers trophy for this reason, that trophy is got the minerals and very little bulk in which you need. And spur is a wonderful feed that I use on my mares that for brood mare purpose, and they are real good.
Albers Milling Company makes a feed concentrate which is highly palatable and highly nutritious, as well as supplies the extra nutrients not found in hay and grain. It's called Spur. Spur concentrate, mixed 1 to 7, has foals growing at a gallop and provides essential elements to keep mares and stallions in peak condition. Spur is also great for show horses that need extra bloom. Add Spur to your ration to ensure a complete feeding program. Clarence, here are the winners of the champion team baton in a record time, right?
Yeah, that's a real fast time, 35:85. That beats any of our time we've had in Oregon the past year. It's the Washington team. We're I was glad to have winners, and this is part of the competition we have in this business. We try to do it faster than someone else can do it. If it's Washington, fine. If it's Oregon, fine. But everybody's happy. They come out here, they have a good time. It looks like they're having a good time today.
Now, Clarence, we're getting ready for the champion senior scurry. We just saw a very exciting competition in the junior scurry, and a very well run by several of the juniors, don't you think?
Yeah, that's right. Washington girl Marlene Mettler, riding a little horse called Sheba with a time of 9:21. We're talking about 9:21, we mean 9 seconds and 21 hundredths. Won it, and now we're going to go into the senior scurry, and the state championship time for Oregon, I should say, is 8:49, so you'll see it comes down pretty fast on these, Art.
Now, in this competition, Clarence, they're penalized 5 seconds for knocking over one of the barriers. Is that right?
That's right. There's a set of 3 poles set up there, and they're 30 feet apart in this particular event, and there's an end barrel 30 feet. If they knock one down, it's 5-second penalty.
Well, let's take a look at the action of that.
All right, fine. Let's go.
Jerry Spielman will be racing for Oregon right now. There she goes.
It's one of our top contenders, Art. She does a pretty good job. We got a nice horse down there, Shawnee. That cost her 5 seconds.
Does one drop like that really hurt your score?
Oh, yeah, when we're running tight like we're doing today, I think not disqualifying, but 5 seconds would practically put us out of the running. Of course, everybody else think pretty hard, too, and it doesn't take much to knock one of these poles down.
Now, Clarence, this is Doug Rice from Washington.
Yeah, he's riding a horse called Sugarfoot Roan, and he won this last year. It's quite a horse. Boy, he just barely made it around that head one. Got a good crowd reaction over there, and it looked like his time is going to be down less than 9.
That second bar was just rolling on there when he tipped it.
Yeah. He stayed inside, though.
Representing Oregon, Tom Delker.
Tom Delker is
One of the fine ones.
Yeah, he's good. He's got a good horse out there, too. It looks like he really cut her down. Now we're down less than 9, I'm sure. Tom's got our best time in the state this year for juniors.
Well, with the total score so far, not counting these results in this particular event, it's Oregon 674 to Washington's 483, and we'll have the results of the champion senior scurry in just a moment. With us now is Evelyn Barber, the state record holder for the pole bending championships. And how's your experience been, Evelyn, with Albers Feed?
Well, we've been very pleased with Albers Feed. We were lucky enough to win some coupons at a horse show, and that's how we got started feeding Albers Feed. We feel it's a very well-balanced diet for our horses and keeps them in top working condition at all times and helps them in the games, I think. And we'd like to recommend it to all horse owners. I think it would keep their horses in top shape, too.
Albers Spurt is a complete pelleted feed for colts prior to weaning. And Spurt assures foals a quick start and gives them more bloom and finish, makes them grow more uniformly, and makes them easier to wean. It also takes the wear and tear off the mare. Foals should be creep-fed Spurt at a rate of 1 pound per day for each month of age. Use Albers Spurt for healthier, faster-growing foals.
Beauty.
Now, this is the champion senior poles event, one of the more popular events. It's kind of like a ski slalom race, only on horseback.
Yeah, you got to go around those, and you got to be pretty sharp, and you got to keep your shoulder down and get that horse in gear and make the proper leads, all right?
This is Judy Glazier riding Little Lady.
Yeah, from Washington.
Right.
She's got the state Washington championship, by the way, 20 and 20 hundredths seconds for time. Last night we had the junior pole bending, and it was won by Karen Kreider of Dallas with a time of 20:85 for Oregon. Real fine time.
Oh, the Oregon record, senior record, is 20.2 seconds.
20 seconds flat.
Right.
Art.
Is that
That's
right?
a real good time too. So we've been a little ahead of Washington on these poles.
Right now, this is Tom Delker going for Oregon, riding No Night D. He also won the champion senior scurry.
Yes, champion's time of 8:65. Art did a real fine job for us. This little horse has been in a lot of events. His dad used to ride him all the time. He turned him over to Tommy. His dad's out there judging today, in fact. He's not judging this particular event, naturally, because his son's riding in it. But
He
looks
sure
like
runs
he's
well.
going to really do her. He's down less than 20 seconds. 20 seconds almost flat, it looks like.
Looks like we might have a new record right there.
It's possible.
Well, now, Clarence, we have the state record holder
That's right. This is Evelyn Barber from down Cottage Grove, Crespo Way. She's got the state time championship of 20 seconds flat. And we're out here to beat 20:01 today, which Tom Delker just ran a few minutes ago. And we like to see her beat it naturally, because these records are made to be beat. And well, that's 5 seconds. Yeah, that's 5 seconds that cost her. This gal's quite a gal. She's been riding at the State Fair in Salem this week, and she's taken home most of the money in the Texas barrels, a good share of it at least.
Well, we'll have the results of the champion senior pools after this message from the Albers. Ray West is the state Texas barrel record holder. And Ray, I'd like to ask you, what special features do you think are needed in feeds for the foals?
Well, I say the mare should be prepared before the foal is dropped. She should have a good mineral supply and protein to develop the milk supply. And then after the foal is dropped, they should be put on grain as early as possible. And we like to use Albers calf manna with the mare's grain. They like it, and it starts them out the colts early. And then go right on. We have colts out on pasture now. We're creep feeding with spurt. And it's working real well. They like it, too.
The all-around feed supplement for farm livestock is Albers' famous calf manna. You can feed it with profit to horses, cattle, sheep, pigs, and goats. Calf manna is especially recommended for stallions and to maintain breeding vigor, for brood mares to boost milk supply, and for foals as creep feed. It improves breeding efficiency, raises production, and stimulates growth. If you have a special feeding problem, calf manna may be your answer. Well, now we're on the Junior 8 stake race. 4 poles are used, and 2 of them are set about 120 feet apart at opposite ends of the course. The 2 center poles set 20 feet apart at the point halfway.
That's all there is to it. It just goes that fast. We make that figure 8 around the end, and across the line is 8:49. That was Jan Spielman riding a little pony out there. It doesn't have to be any particular breed of horse in these games. That's one reason we like them so well. Games, it just goes that fast, and it's done.
They can ride any breed of horse.
Any breed, any color, any shape they want, as long as they got 4 legs and can get on it and stay on it.
This is Karen Kreider, right?
That's Karen Kreider, that's right. She lives in Dallas, rides a horse called Coco Jack. She won one of the previous events, as you recall. Fast time for this particular event's 8:49. She's been really banging it out there. Looks like she had a pretty good time.
What's an average time for an event like that?
Well, 8:49 is a good time. 8:49 seconds.
Clarence, this next entry now is a trailer race. What will we expect to see now?
Well, the trailer race is an event. They have a team of 2 people. They'll come to they're coming to the horse show. They'll have their horse in the back of the trailer. They'll ride in the arena, open the door and get out and make sure everything, their equipment's all ready to go. And then the object, of course, is to unload your horse, saddle him, bridle him, and ride around the arena and back and put him into the trailer just like he's ready to go down the road. Of course, there's a lot of things involved that happens in between.
Well, Clarence, let's take a look at the action right now. This is the final heat, Clarence, of this particular trailer race, and the Washington cars are in the center. Is that right? And then the Oregon...
That's right. The ones on the outside, the green pickup and the Chevy down here is on the outside are Oregon. 2 inside ones are Washington. Climax, these are our top contenders for this particular event.
What are the various rules regulating this event?
Well, we've got quite a few of them. The equipment, of course, is a hauler and hackamore for tying the trailer, unattached saddle blanket, western saddle and bridle with bit in the mouth, no elastic cinch or elastic bridles allowed. And starting signal, of course, you watch them, you'll see the gates, cars, I should say, the doors on the cars will fly open. And then the action is underway. The object, of course, is to reach in there and get your equipment, drop that tailgate, get that horse out, scare him out about 5 years grueling it usually. There's some action you can see. You get on and down around that first barrel and back, and they have to load them and put them back ready to go down the road again. Well, there's a lot of mishaps in between the time they open that gate and the time they get back. Looks like our Washington boys out here got a good start. And Oregon's ahead down here on this side. Now there's a Washington one inside there. 2 Washington ones back there. All our equipment flies in, the doors go shut. That's the end of the race, about 40 seconds. Here's some more coming in.
It's an exciting event. especially if they don't get that cinch all the way tight.
Yeah, as you can see a little earlier, why they missed one down here a while ago.
No, that is going to have to be a stopwatch.
This is a timed event, by the way, Art. This isn't the first one back.
And we'll get the official results of the competition in just a moment.
Art, I have with me here Chuck Millard, who's the general chairman of the Interstate Championship meet from Canby, Oregon. I'm going to ask him a few questions about what he thought of the meet here. How do you think it went, Chuck, compared to other meets?
I think it's probably been one of the fastest meets. The time's probably been as good or better than ever before, and things have seemed to run real smoothly.
We have anything outstanding in particular? We beat any records this year?
No records I know of, for sure.
We came awful close, didn't we, in our holes? I noticed when the gals down
I
here.
believe it was. I don't believe it was quite a record.
Well, next year this will be held in Washington, right?
Right.
Thank you, Chuck, very much.
Clarence, now these are the winners of the trailer competition being presented their buckles.
This is Dick Yell and Karen Holitz from Washington State, and their time was 42.70. So they're very happy you can sure to win this trailer event. It's
A little slower time than the usual record time.
Yeah, a little bit slower, but it's
a fine, exciting race.
A lot of action, that's for sure. We saw just about everything that could happen in the trailer race. People coming discombobulated and losing their horse and falling off and running into the fence. It was a pretty good event.
With me, Clarence, is Janet Rice, the Washington State Game Division of the Washington State Horsemen. You're on the losing end, but how did you like the competition today?
Well, I think it was better competition. I think we offered a little bit faster horses this year to what we had last year. I think the Washington riders have realized that they have to better their times, work a little harder, and work for the same thing, think alike, and work together at the big show so we can beat Oregon.
Next year now, you will be hosting the meet. Do you have any plans as far as dates or location yet?
Well, the date will probably be the Labor Day weekend, the same as it has been the last 2 years. And the location will be in Washington, and we're not sure. It has to go through meetings and the state association. But we will try to get it fairly close to the border to make it equal distance for both Oregon and Washington riders.
The current score with 3 events remaining in today's competition is 1377 for Oregon and 969 for the state of Washington. So it appears that Washington will be unable to catch up this afternoon. The championship this year going to the state of Oregon. That about wraps up the tremendous show of horsemanship from the 9th Annual Interstate Champion Games meet here in Canby, Oregon. Today's show has been brought to you by Albers, photography by Chris Christensen and Jerry Fisher. And this is Art Eckman saying thanks to Clarence Lacrosse for his expert commentary today and reminding you to be with us next week for Sports Northwest.